If you're feeling like a hot mess when it comes to your bookkeeping for your private practice, stick around for this video because I'm going to give you some tips on bookkeeping that are going to hopefully give you a little bit of peace of mind and a little bit of direction in getting everything situated. What exactly is bookkeeping? So bookkeeping is essentially keeping track of all your business income and expenses. I like to set up a tax-based bookkeeping system for my clients. I'm going to go over what tax-based bookkeeping is, but before we get there, my name is Jeanette Andrada and I help therapists in private practice pay the least amount of taxes using tax and accounting strategies. What is tax-based bookkeeping? There are several ways that you could do the bookkeeping for your private practice. One is from a managerial perspective, and this is for bigger businesses where you definitely want to break down your numbers in a specific way to help you make managerial decisions. This is fine, and we could combine tax-based bookkeeping with this, but when you're first starting out in your practice, the primary thing that I focus in on is setting up that tax foundation. When we're talking about tax-based bookkeeping, we're talking about sorting out your income and expenses in a tax manner. What this means is that we want to set up your bookkeeping with different tax categories. If we look at Form 1040, Schedule C, which is your income tax return when it comes to sole proprietors, then we could see that here is a tax breakdown of all the tax categories. We could name our tax categories whatever we want to name them. We could say advertising, marketing, office expenses, administrative expenses, contractors, and so on. We could name them this, but what I like to do is make sure to have our tax categories that you will find in your income tax return. Another reason why I like tax-based bookkeeping for my clients is because I want the bookkeeper, the one that's accounting for all the expenses that you're going to write off, I want them to communicate that appropriately to your tax preparer. So remember, your bookkeeper and your tax preparer is not necessarily the same person. Well, it could be. I actually do bookkeeping and taxes for my clients, but a lot of the times they're different sets of people, and that's because a lot of bookkeepers do not want to take on tax returns, and a lot of people that do tax returns do not want to do bookkeeping. So you might have a bookkeeper and a tax person. Then there's a potential for there to be a disconnect, right? Because you have the person that's accounting for all the write-offs, and then you have the person that's doing the tax returns, and there might not be that communication in the middle. So a tax preparer is just kind of going off of the bookkeeping, when the bookkeeping might not be accounting for all the tax write-offs in the appropriate way. An example is your home office expenses. We write that off in a certain way. Your cell phone expenses, we write that off in a certain way as well. And we have our meals that are written off a certain way. Depending on the type of meal, then you have a different deduction amount. So as you can see, it's really easy for things to get lost in the shuffle, and then you don't have the correct information to write things off on the tax returns. That's why I set up a tax-based bookkeeping system, because I want to make sure we're capturing all the write-offs possible, that we're maximizing that, but also I want to make sure that we're compliant, that we are not writing off things that we shouldn't be writing off, and I just want to make sure that everything is perfect. So setting up your Schedule C or your tax return and integrating it within your QuickBooks account or however you do your bookkeeping is going to already give you a leg up when it comes to doing your tax returns and getting the most in write-off. I hope those tips are helpful for you, and if you're looking to hire in somebody soon, make sure to head over to my strategy session link as soon as possible, because I'm only accepting clients through August 31st. I hope you found this helpful, and I will talk to you next time.